What's up, Bears fans, Chicago Bears fans? It's Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Back with another live show for you. Hey, it's game day. It's game day. The Chicago Bears travel to Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football. We have a live one for you today. Hey, we're going to get into game prediction and start breaking down the schematics, the game plan, and the chess match between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings on this Monday night real fast. But we have so much to talk about, right? There's, what I'm saying, Frank Wright being fired today. There's Derek Barnett rumors being coming to Chicago. I threw out so many surveys this week on Bears Extra Twitter. I just want to talk about some of those and so much more on today's show. And y'all know the standard for Chicago Bears 360, man. We try to be, as Coach Boone says, we try to make it.
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection.
Let's go. Hey, y'all know what's next. Cue the intro, maestro. Let's go. Contra.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
And just like that, we're back, Bears fans. Do me a favor if you're in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me just fine. Hopefully, y'all can hear me just fine. Getting tapped in. A little bit cold in the studio today, but nonetheless, we're here, and it's game day. So that's all that really matters, right? Bears play tonight. You know what I'm saying? Justin Fields is on the field with this offense coming off of the Detroit, the meltdown in Motown. And we get a chance of redemption in Minnesota this week. We're going to get into that and so much more. But I have so many other topics I want to talk about because there's some interesting scenarios playing out as we get deeper into the series. Deeper into the season that I want to discuss with the fan base. And we'll just close to my mouth. I want to discuss with the fan base. And the first of those is Frank Wright being let go with fast to fire a head coach that was newly into his tenure. And as many may or may not know, Frank Wright has a connection to our head coach. He was actually Matt Eberflus's boss in Indianapolis, I believe. So the question for the chat to get y'all warmed up already, is, what if Matt Eberflus calls his old boss and say, hey, Frank, why don't you come over here as an OC or senior assistant? Let's start with senior assistant. Come over here as a senior assistant and help out and advise with this team next season, the remainder of the season, next season, probably wouldn't happen the remainder of this season. But maybe going into next season, getting Luke Getsy, another set of eyes in there. Now, we had this thing in coaching about too many cooks being in the kitchen. And as somebody suggested earlier today that we needed probably to get Frank Wright and Greg Roman. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, it wouldn't work in that scenario. Be too many cooks in the kitchen, right? You have to have a direction and maybe a senior advisor, somebody that can kind of scout, do analysis, similar to what Phil Snow is doing for the defense for Matt Eberflus. But how do y'all feel about Frank Wright potentially joining the Bears coaching staff as a senior assistant or OC? How would y'all like to see it? Because I know there's plenty of dissatisfaction amongst the Bears fans with Luke Getsy and his performance over the last 2 years, right? And the lack of development, if you will, and a lack of, I won't call it a lack of willingness to cater the offense to Justin's skill set, but there was some reluctance there at one point. And y'all forgive me if we have a little bit of glitch in there, but y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Um, my personal opinion is it on it is I don't feel that it would hurt the team to have a senior assistant come in and support Luke Getzey. Now, this is assuming the coaching staff is back, right? And I've been on record for saying what I believe as far as this coaching staff going into next season, how it would look like and what would be. And by all means, from my perspective is I think that the coaching staff will stay intact. Matt Eberflus is going to be here. Luke Getzey's going to be here because Ryan Poles hasn't come out and explicitly, not that he would say that he was firing him, but the level of support he gave in his press conference some weeks ago for Matt Eberflus leads me to believe that he would be here. And when fans are talking about when they're discussing, the firing of Matt Eberflus, you have to keep in mind, with that comes a reset. And I think this is one of the challenges that the Carolina Panthers are gonna have to face because in 5 years they fired 3 head coaches. And if you're doing it, if you're constantly resetting the organization, it's hard for players to catch hold of a vision and gain traction, and more importantly, gain trust and ownership that there will be somebody around um, at that head man's position to be able to guide the football team, right? You know what I'm saying? Players would be getting to get a little bit of PTSD, if you will, and thinking that, hey, you know what I'm saying? We fired 3 out of 5 coaches during our tenure. What's to say he won't do it again, right? And this is my concern for us firing Matt Eberflus after 2 seasons, right? Um, Everybody understood. Well, most of us understood that when the Poles Eberflus era started, that we were going to be doing a total rebuild, a hard reset, and that's exactly what Ryan Poles had to do. He had to tear this entire roster down and build it back up and get rid of bad money and build it back up with some good money and some good signings, some good picks through the draft. And for the most part, based off, standard GM grades, he's done a fairly decent job. I think all of us would point out the Chase Claypool signing as one of his mistakes. But you know what I'm saying? That's hindsight being 2020. When he signed Chase Claypool, I don't think there was as much skepticism as there was after the fact, after Chase was slow to pick up on the playbook last season, and then also became somewhat of a locker room distraction this season. So we can go ahead and grade and score that and to chalk that one up to Ryan Poles as a miss. Um, we can also maybe chalk the Valus Jones draft pick up to Ryan Poles. But let me know if in the chat if I'm missing on some potential misses by Ryan Poles. But for the most part, I'll say, the Billings signing went well. He's outperformed this contract, even the new when he's signed. He has the 2 rookie interior defensive linemen who are trending up. You have Braxton Jones, who's trending up. By the way, this is going to be Braxton's second opportunity in a number of weeks to prove that he's the guy at left tackle. Last week, I think he did pretty good versus Aiden Hutchinson and others versus Detroit. This week, he has another test of Daniil Hunter. He gets to prove himself as the left tackle potentially of the future, as well as, in upcoming opponents against Myles Garrett as well. So we're going to be keeping our eye on that as well. So what other, signees can you credit Ryan Poles in a positive way for bringing to the team? I thought the Mercedes Lewis signing was good. I thought Robert Tonyan was good. I thought Deontay Foreman was a good signing. Um, and we have to give Ryan Poles credit for pulling off, the deal that landed us DJ Moore. Right now, could DJ Moore probably have more yards? But yes, he could. But within context, that's been an overall good signing, which landed us Darnell Wright and Tyreek Stevenson in the round 2, Darnell Wright in round 1 last off season, and Tyreek Stevens in round 2. I think that wraps up the offensive side of the ball. And then again, defense, Jaquan Brisker's played well for us. Kyler Gordon's played well for us. And then there's the corners that aren't playing. Smith, who will start today, who's played well in backup duty or mop up duty. And if you want to give him credit for signing Tyson Bagent, I think we have to give him credit for that too. Although I believe that's a Luke Getsy signing, in my opinion. So again, what are we saying here? What are we really looking at? Right? We have to be careful with the firing, and I think I'm trying to take the approach as the organization and thinking, because what happens with fan base is we see everybody getting fired, OCs getting fired, head coaches getting fired, and we're thinking, man, if those guys can get fired, you know what I'm saying, why not our guys? And I believe the reason why our guys aren't getting fired, um, even though there's a losing record there for the last 2 or 3 years, is particularly the head coach, is because the circumstances, situations aren't the same. I believe if the situations were the same, I believe you fired. Now, the Carolina was, again, it's a kind of one off, right? It's a kind of one off. I think you have a little bit of a nutcase in the owner over there, and Bears fans. As much as we complain about, you know what I'm saying, the McCaskies, David Temper is a piece of work over there. 3 head coaches in 5 years. I think Carolina is headed towards Cleveland Browns territory of the 80s, late 80s, early 90s on terror, because you just can't get any stability over there. And he's going to have to overpay a head coach to get a guy to stick around. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat. I'm going to get back when I slide through the DM sections. Do me a favor as you come in, man. Do me a favor headed into this Monday night. I started to say Friday night. Monday night game versus the Minnesota Vikings. Let me know, or like, share, subscribe the channel. If you're watching for the first time, like, subscribe, or subscribe to the channel so you can become part of Chicago Bears 360. We have a good time over here, man. It's pretty much positive vibes and energy over here, man. We try to keep it pretty lively, man. I know it gets kind of contentious because we all love our Bears, but you know what I'm saying? Tap in with us. Subscribe to the channel, one of the fastest growing Bears channel on YouTube. Coach, we're approaching over 100 subscriptions to the channel in the last 90 days, man. And that's nothing to sneeze at. I'm very proud of that. I want to get to 100 with about 72. So please subscribe to the channel, become part of the family. And speaking of Ryan Poles signing, I think that'll be a good segue into this survey that I submitted on X, man, and asked Bears, Bears Twitter, Bears X. I don't know what we call them anymore, man. More valuable than that package of picks. Let me know how y'all feel about it in the chat, because I don't believe he is. I don't believe any singular player or pick is worth more than the haul that we got last year for DJ Moore. I know it's probably going to be controversial amongst Bears fans. Last time I checked that survey, it was about, I want to say it was about 46% that said yes, he is, and 54% that said no, which lets you know. And there was about 200 people that actually took the survey on Twitter, which lets you know how divided the Bears fans are on Marvin Harrison Jr. when it comes to it. Because I think, all things being equal, if we only had one pick, right? We only had one first rounder, and we didn't have this particular GM that loves to trade down, and we wasn't a team that was in the midst of a rebuild, I think all things being equal, all Bears fans would say, yeah, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., right? And bring him to the Bears, and You know what I'm saying? Let's run it back, right? But when you're a team that's in I would say going into the second phase of a rebuild, I think the first year was to tear down. The second year was to let's get some core players in positions, players in position to compete, right? To play well. But this coming up season, I think is where you got to start really adding some drywall, if you will, to this foundation that you built. You got to start putting on some trinkets, right? And I don't think it's the time to go all in on one individual player. And I heard comps like Megatron for Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know, man. I don't believe he's a Megatron type talent. I've been doing some film work and investigating the wide receivers, and there are a lot of them in this first round, a lot of wide receivers. And what I'm looking to tell is the distance between Marvin Harrison Jr. that much further away from guys of a similar frame, right? Like Xavier Leggett, who's 6'3", 225. That's projected to run a 4.340 at 6'3", 227, right? 6'3", 227 is projected to run a 4.340. Is the distance between him and guys like that so much that you have to draft them? The other part of the equation is it worth all of that? The haul that you get right there when you're trying to build a perennial NFC North champion, right? Now, the third part of the equation that I want to mention is this. We have the potential to have twice the overhaul in that situation. Because if we end up with the first pick and say the third pick or the fourth pick as well, what we got for DJ Moore could be replicated and be doubled down on twice. So imagine having two star players, right, from another team. I asked a question on Twitter, who would you want from another team that's currently out there right now? I heard names like Max Crosby, Buda Baker. Think about our needs and think about the opportunity to fill those needs, not with just draft picks, but you have the potential to get at least two stars from another team if you get the sum of what equates to what we got for DJ Moore last year, right? And you get a Max Crosby and a Buda Baker, or the player from New England, I forget the defensive tackle, or Peter Vay, or Vay, is it from Tampa Bay? If you can get difference makers from other teams, proven players already in the league, you know what I'm saying, potential Pro Bowlers or guys that's just underneath Pro Bowl level, young guys that can come in, a Buda Baker, Max Crosby, throw some other names out there in the chat. I'll get to it. But think about the potential of getting those type of guys, right? And you have two first rounders still from this year. You still have two first rounders. So you can get two stars, two first rounders from this year, right? You can get a tackle, an edge, one of those other wide receivers that this draft seems to be. And you still get this year's second rounder, maybe potentially two second rounders, and still have next year's first rounders, potentially two first rounders from next year. What I'm getting at is, what's to prevent Ryan Poles from trading back again, getting two more star players and getting another haul from two teams versus one like he did last year in Carolina? Let me know what y'all thoughts are in the chat, because at the end of the day, I'm a businessman. I love business. And to me, this is good business. The value has to be there. The value has to be there for me to say, oh, I would forfeit about 5 or 6 decent to good players, right? Assuming that you'd only hit on 3 of 3. Say you got 3 picks between the first and second round, right? You know the player you're getting is going to be a good player, but then you just have to hit on the other 2 picks. You're saying this guy is better than 6 other players, potentially first and second rounders. I don't know if any of you or many of you are old enough to remember the Minnesota Vikings trade with the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. And that trade ended up netting the Dallas Cowboys at least 3 championships in the 90s, right? I believe it was 3 championships they won in the 90s. Those picks ended up netting them 3 championships, right? Because it was a haul of picks. I think there were a total of 7 picks that Dallas got from Minnesota for Herschel Walker. And I thought it was one of the biggest fumbles in terms of trades in NFL history because they overvalued one individual player. And remember, we're in the business of building football teams, right? Nothing against Marvin Harrison Jr. He seems like a great kid, comes from a lineage of wide receivers, seems to be playing well. But I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna keep doing my homework, but what I've seen on film right now is not to say he's not a good player, but what I've seen on film right now, I can't separate from Marvin Harrison Jr. to probably the next 2 or 3 guys that have the same size and build and have that warrant, right? Us taking this player over getting a haul. Again, I'm here and I'm here. Listen, agree to disagree. I'm going to listen to you when we do the DM section here in a second. But that's one of my hot takes leading in a hot take Tuesday because I'm gonna clip that up tomorrow for Hot Take Tuesday. Y'all put Hot Take Tuesday down in the chat. I want y'all to put hashtag Hot Take Tuesday down in the comment section. And there's a reason why I want y'all to put hashtag Hot Take Tuesday down in the comment section. There's a reason why I want y'all to put Hot Take Tuesday down in the comment section. And that reason is because guess who has a patent? Guess who has a patent on the term Hot Take Tuesday? Take a wild guess. Who has a patent on the phrase Hot Take Tuesday? I want y'all to put hashtag Hot Take Tuesday down in the chat because you're none other than your boy Coach T has a patent, at least applied for the phrase Hot Take Tuesday. And when it gets approved, I'm putting Hot Take Tuesday on everything Tuesday. T-shirts, hats, and what have you. That'll let y'all know right there. My take on the business end of this situation is probably better than most because that's what I do for a living. I'm a businessman at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I've worked for Disney corporate. I work for Incom. I work for McDonald's corporate. I work for Chase corporate. So I've been around some pretty good business dealings in my day. Hashtag Hot Take Tuesday, man. What else I got for y'all? Listen, man, it's a hot one today. We might break a record, bro. 19 in the comment section. I need about 25. Let's hit 30 today, man. Let's hit 30. Like, share, subscribe, man. Let's hit 30. Let's break a record today. If you share, we will break a record today. If you share, we will break a record today on Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T, man. I think my record for people in the comments is about 25, 20, 20, 25, 30. The more you share, the more people come in, we can break this record. And also, as we get going, I want to identify some new moderators because the channel is growing so fast. I want to identify moderators. I also want to identify some new co-hosts. We had AJ on this past week. Let me know how y'all feel about AJ, Elise Davis. But I want to make sure people are dedicated and committed, man. It's putting the work in because if there's ever a time I can't be here, I want to make sure it's somebody that the channel is vibing with and people have a relationship with or are familiar with. All right. We having a good time, man. Let me see what else I had in here. Oh, okay. So we said I'm gonna get back to that. I'm interested anyway. Y'all let me know on that team from those teams. Who would you trade? Who would you ask for in a trade as part of the package, the haul for one of those 2 top picks to trade down, bro? We have the potential to build a monster. We have the potential to be a monster. to build a monster. Why wouldn't you want to do that and take over this division for the long term? Y'all know what's next, man. It goes down in DM. Let's get
Did you
to
get
it.
like some crazy DMs or what?
Very.
Surprises or no?
It's talking like blue check marks.
Yeah, like
People who be sliding, and I'm like, wow, y'all fuck with me like that.
Yeah, it goes down in the DMs. I'm back, man. I gotta get y'all live. I gotta get y'all on the show, man. I gotta get y'all shots out, man. Shout out to Stun Trust 9, man. Long-term subscriber to the channel, man. I appreciate you. One of the field soldiers that's out there. James Ford. Appreciate you on the sound check, my boy. Appreciate you. Coming in loud and clear. Doing it again. One of my faves, Steve-O speaks. Hey, Steve-O, Thursday, my guy. Mark your calendar for me. Thursday at 4. Let's do it, man. Thursday at 4. All right. Hey, Steve-O. Steve-O said, if I see an empty set today, I'm going to lose my mind. Steve-O, me and you both. Me and you both. If I see an empty set today, I'm going to lose my mind as well. Bet not. Matter of fact, it's so bad. It was so bad. I was watching the Bills-Philadelphia game last night, or I was watching a replay of the highlights from it. I was actually watching Dan Orlovsky give his takes from the game last night. And Josh Allen throws a interception out of empty set. Listen, man, it's only so much you can do out of empty because you go empty set, you gotta protect with 5 men. And most NFL teams can't hold up in 5-man protection. So one of two things gonna happen is you're gonna take a deep shot. If you get single high safety, you take a deep shot. It's gonna be a short pass or it's gonna be a screen. And when you can sit back as a cornerback and just say that, that makes half of your job. It's doing half of your job for you, right? Hey, it's going to be a deep shot. So can this dude in front of me blow past me? Am I scared of his speed? No. Okay, I'm going to sit on the route. Screen, I'm going to jump the route. Short pass, I'm going to jump the route. Interception. I mean, you're right. You're right, Steve-O. You got me triggered there, buddy. My guy, Arturo, welcome back. Bear Truth 9, I see you. We in the building, man. These are the regulars, man. I'm gonna have to listen. I know Bear Truth 9 is already a moderator. I don't know if he knew that or not, but I'm gonna have to volunteer some of y'all for moderatorhood. I don't have too many problems though. It's pretty dope channel, man. Everybody that give me problems, I already boot off. Hey, Moshe, welcome to the tribe, man. First time commenter that I can remember. So if you have commented before I had you on the screen, forgive me. Charged to my head, not my heart. You're only as strong as your weakest link. I like Flus, but he needs help. I would like to see him with a competent staff under him. This is a problem when you're first time head coach. You absolutely. And because we went novice, meaning GM novice, head coach novice, coordinators novice, I think we put ourselves behind where we could have been had we hired competent offensive coordinators. Now, let me act as apologist for this strategy. I think what they were attempting to do is to get some recycled coaching blood into the organization and bring some guys in that weren't recycled coaches that brought in baggage. But again, I think that might have been a mistake because if you have novices across the board, you don't know what you don't know. And rather than me just chalk it up to, look at that, man. Why people call me while I'm doing the show? Why would you call me while I'm doing the show? Rather than me chalk it up to you just being incompetent, I'm going to chalk it up to that being novice across the board. And so I said this many a times, man. My preference is this is why I brought up the Frank Wright take because I have a good feeling that we're probably going to go with Phil Snow as defensive coordinator if the staff stays in place. And what I said is get you veteran assistants that don't have aspirations of being a head coach. Get you good coordinators that don't have the aspirations to be a head coach. There's plenty of good football guys that's out there that don't have aspirations to be a head coach that wouldn't even take an interview if offered. Now, a team can offer, but it's probably a guy that's been through the ropes a few times, like a Jim Caldwell or some other names out there. Those guys, they probably don't want a head coaching job. They just want to coach ball. And I don't blame them, unless the pay gap between OC and an offensive coordinator, head coach. So, hey, y'all remember Dick LeBeau, man? Dick LeBeau was in Pittsburgh forever. I always admire Dick LeBeau because Dick LeBeau knew what his niche was in the NFL. And Dick LeBeau was the defensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. It seemed like no matter who they brought in to be the offensive coordinator, Dick LeBeau stayed. And that's what built that dynasty of a defense in Pittsburgh, because no matter, it was part of the package. You were coming to Pittsburgh, it was a known deal. No matter who the head coach was, hey, Dick ain't going nowhere. Pause. Anyway, I had to pause that because you got to pause that. I don't know why, but yeah, you got to pause that. Yeah, Smith, the kid from Minnesota, Jay Sanders. I appreciate you having my back on that. Smith, my guy Nomad Network. Check out his channel, by the way, man. Nomad, give him your info. Always willing to support fellow Bears DIY media, especially those I get along with, man. I rock with. Nomad is one of those people. Steve-O is one of those people. Bears Media Co. is one of those people, man. I know how hard this business is. It's a cutthroat business. And whenever you can meet people, man, that you rock with, man, I always support them. So Nomad said, I'm in the middle of workout, but I'm watching, support you, bro. I appreciate you, man. Arturo. Who else we got out here, man? Because I don't want to hold y'all alone today, because I want to get into and he says, Bear Coach C's in the house. I don't want to miss out on anybody, because I want to get what y'all think, man. My guy, Raging Oracle is back. I ain't seen you in a minute, my guy. What's going on? Cool. I cool with trading back again, because the 3-tech class is weak this year. That's what I'm saying, man. If you can get you a 3-tech from another team, and still get you a top 15 pick, then that's how you build football teams, my guy. I just feel like, man, Bears fans should be less attached to individual players than they are about the overall success of the football team. And let Chef Coles cook, man. I got some hot take Tuesdays out there. And I can't wait till that patent come back in, bro. I'm gonna get some t-shirt made and all that other stuff. Listen, man, if I skipped your comment, charged to my head, not my heart, I don't know to answer your question there. You gotta give me the enunciation. Uh, anyway, yes. All right, guys, listen. I tried to get to everybody's comment the best I could, and get through them and acknowledge everybody that's in the chat, man. I appreciate you rocking with me on this Monday game day, right? Bears at Vikings. We go up to the big tinfoil can in Minnesota on Monday night. I'm expecting fireworks, man. And I'm not even tempering my expectations for the offense today. Listen, I don't know if y'all heard me say this. I like the results of what happened in Detroit, meaning Justin played well. He could have had a few more yards had we held on to some balls, meaning if we didn't fumble the ball, pause, and we actually caught the deep shot, Tyler Scott. So hopefully Tyler Scott has a better game today. His yards would have been better. I like the results, meaning he played well, he played with confidence, and everybody walked away from that game feeling like, okay, this is step one in a 7-game series for them to make their decision about what they're going to do with Justin Fields. But I didn't necessarily love the game plan. I still feel like Justin needs to be under center more, and we need to attack opposing defense from under center, especially this week, because if you go back to the first Minnesota game, right, we come out an empty set and we line up Corey Blasingame against Minnesota starting cornerback, right? And rather than fans questioning why with Luke Getsy come out an empty set against a blitz heavy team, right, with no extra bodies in to help with the protection scheme. Instead of fans questioning that, they question why Justin held on to the ball. They question why would Justin hold on to the ball. And I remember a certain Chicago Bears 360 host telling you all that the reason why Justin holds on to that ball is he's not sure, or he's recognizing that he has a fullback versus a cornerback out there, and there's no way that the cornerback is going to respect the fullback speed. So he's thinking that that cornerback is going to jump that route and pick the ball off and run it and hit his head on the goalpost for 6 points. I remember saying that on this show after when asked to explain that. On other shows when asked to explain that. On Twitter X, I said that. I said that. You're not throwing that ball. He's holding on. He's holding on to the ball. He's holding on to the ball because his first read was a fullback versus a cornerback. I remember saying, I promise I did. If y'all remember me saying that.
Jim, what do you remember about the very first play of that game where I think you were empty?
Yeah, cover zero. I was about to throw to KB, but I felt like the corner wasn't threatened by, KB speed. They every time you put a running back, fullback, or a tight end out at number one over a corner, he's not gonna think you're going deep on him. So I just felt him sitting on the route, so I didn't want to potentially throw a pick on the first play of the game. But learning from that, I just gotta sail it over his head and move on to 2nd and 10. So. So
I went on to say, if I'm Justin, I'm not throwing that ball. I'm hesitating too. And I either dirt the ball or sail it over his head and live on to play another play. Because in that situation, your coordinator puts you in a position to fail. You to throw the pick six, the cornerback hits his head on the goal post, scores a touchdown, and fans would have been off the Justin fan and a train anyway. Everybody, he's bust. It's no win with this kid. He holds the ball because the offensive coordinator puts him in a position to fail. He throws that ball, it's a pick six score. He dirts the ball, he can't throw. He sails the ball, he's inaccurate. He takes a sack. He holds the ball too long. We got to make up our mind. Oh, by the way, out of the same empty formation versus the Los Angeles Chargers and the New Orleans Saints, the same empty formation, Tyson Bagent comes out and throws 2 picks. He throws that ball that Justin held on to, but throws 2 picks. And I'm telling the fans, I'm telling the base, I'm telling the followers of the channel that it's the coordinator. And I'm dealing with pushback. I'm dealing with disrespect. It's crazy as hell to me, bro. It's crazy as hell to me. Anyway, I just had a moment. So here's the thing. Here's the take. Let me start with that one because Steve-O said it earlier. I don't know what the comment is. Steve-O said it right here. Same play, same formation. Same play, same formation. Tyson Bagent throws interceptions. Those is paying attention. No. If you know, you know. Right? Because listen, we pay attention. We watch the film around here. We actually know what we're looking at. Right? Those that know. So guess what you don't do in this Minnesota game? You don't come out of empty damn formation. Or if you do, like Luke said, when asked a question, why are you doing that, Luke? Why did you come out in formation? He said, I wanted to see how the defense is going to respond to 21 personnel versus an empty formation. I'm going to see what personnel group they countered with. It doesn't matter, Luke. If they see a tight end and a fullback run on the field, they're going to say it's 21 personnel. They're going to send the personnel out there, or actually Minnesota went reduced personnel. So why didn't you shift into a power I formation and run the ball? So have the contingency on in case you get what you want. He didn't have the contingency on. He got what he wanted. He got reduced personnel, but he didn't. Hey, he had lighter bodies out there, corners, safeties, and a nickel out there. Why didn't you say, okay, if they come out there with these personnel, call a shift, y'all shift in the I formation, we're gonna run right at them. He didn't have it on. So what you don't do today, Luke, is you don't come out there and go empty formation and not have a contingency on the run the ball. Play under center. The way you attack this blitz from Minnesota is you run it right at the blitz. You run right at the blitz. You run right at it. And why do you do that, coach? I'm going to tell you why. Because if you run right, there's more likely to, first of all, if you're lining up linebackers in the gaps, if you're lining up linebackers, whenever you put players closer to the line of scrimmage, you make them easier to block. You make them easier to block. Remember, offensive linemen aren't that good in space. But if you bring them you bring them in the trenches, they dog food. They dog food. They already lighter than the linemen are. You're just making it easy for them to get their hands on them. So you run right at them. Particularly this Minnesota defense, you run it right up the middle. You run it between the tackles, and you punish them in between the tackles, and you run off tackle, and then you run your play action off that from under center. So I'm going to take it a step further, Steve-O. Not just coming out here, not just playing out of empty. Stay out of gun, 11 personnel gun as much as possible together. Again, I sound like a broken record to me, but 12 personnel heavy, 12 personnel plus, right? 12, 13, 21, 22 personnel, and pound them. You pound them for 4 quarters. And I'll give Luke, see credit for coaching the entire, you put for 4 quarters and win a football game, and I'll give Luke credit for coaching 4 quarters because he's yet to put together a 4-quarter offensive football game yet. He came close in Detroit last week. I give him credit for 3.5 quarters, 3 3/4 at best. But you got to come out and pound these guys. You got to come out and punch them in the mouth. And here's again, it's a division opponent. So it's more than just winning the football game. It's more than just finessing them and putting points on the board. It's about punishing division opponents. It's Steelers, Ravens. You know what I'm saying? It's Bengals. It's NFC North. Bring that type of physicality from the AFC North to the NFC North. Let's get busy. Make it a backyard alley fight. Let's make it a bar fight, man. What are we doing? This Chicago. We don't care nothing about cute offensive football, double reverses, orbit flip reverses, jet sweep. Punch them in the mouth. By the way, man, we got 26 in the comment section, 26 in the chat. Man, we about to break a record. I just need 4 more. I think we almost at the record. I think we about 27. 27 is about the amount we've seen in the chat. I'm gonna start keeping tally right now. Matter of fact, put it on where's my pen? 26, 20. Get 30. I know the record is broken for sure. I know we're breaking the record for sure with 30. And then I'm still pat the designers and them thing. See, I can't wait. I get big time like them. I'd be like, 100 in the chat. 100 in the chat. 100. I can't wait till I get on y'all level, Pat. I know y'all watching. I know you watching P Kid. I know you watching Ringo. By the way, man, y'all spend the block on that offer y'all made me last year. You know what I'm talking about. You need to spend the block on that offer y'all made me last year. Anyway, give me the 30. I know we broke the record. But Luke, you can't do that today, man. Luke, we're challenging all Bears fan energy towards you today in that game plan and your play calling. And we're saying stay out of empty, stay out of heavy 11 personnel, go under center, run the damn ball right at them, go play action, go split zone, run your powers, run your leads, run your counters, go split zone, run your duos, run play action off of those, run your counters off of those, right? Run some zone read. If you're gonna go 11 personnel, run some zone read, run some power zone, run some RPOs with short yardage to go situations where you 3rd and 1 or you're inside the 10, say 10, 15-yard line. Then you can go some zone read, right? Some power read where you run the quarterback. Run the quarterback in those scenarios and situations. Oh, by the way, Luke, do me a favor too, Luke, while you're listening. Take that damn quarterback sprint out sweep play out of your playbook. Please take that out. We don't like that. That play is dead. All right. That play gonna get our quarterback hurt. We're not liking it. Take it out. It's trash. All right. Influence. We coming over your side of the ball, big boy. Because you up next. I need one more. We break a record. I'm watching the chat, man. We almost right at an hour, too. We need one more. One more in here, we break the record. Anyway, back to Flus in the defense. So I gave my DJ go off. All right. I gave my offense. Tyler, catch the ball. Cole, get yours. This defense is acceptable to the tight end play, the tight end pass catching. Cole, go off. Do your thing, right? Khalil, you're going to have to carry the load today. Foreman's hurt. Do your thing. But I need you to run in between the tackles. I need you to get sticky with it. I need Roshan to get sticky with it in between the tackles. Maybe Khalil, some on those tall sweeps or whatever, all that other stuff, right? He can get his from there. But I need somebody to pound that thing up in there. Get up in them guts. All right? But on the defensive side of the ball, Coach Eberflus, what we need for you, we need you to tighten up that 2-minute defense. Before the half, at the end of the game, 2-minute defense can't do what it did in Detroit. We not Detroit in this one, right? And here's the other thing about that, man. Shout out to Josh Dobbs. He's a Avery, Quincy Avery protege. If y'all don't know who Quincy Avery is, he's a local quarterback coach here in the ATL area who coaches both Josh Dobbs and Justin Fields. He coaches a bunch of quarterbacks. But Quincy Avery, you know what I'm saying? I met him once or twice. Great guy, coaches Dobbs. Shout out to Josh Dobbs doing this thing, but all that bullshit in the day. In the day. No Cinderella stories around here. I need my man Montez Sweat to get on his head. Don't hurt him. Get on his head, right? I need that defensive line putting pressure on, right? We need to get going. Today, we take the next step. Right? We got all those picks, potential picks. Jalen Johnson, I hope you weren't eating Butterfingers this week, right? No butter popcorn, nothing with butter on it for Thanksgiving. You shouldn't have had nothing with butter for Thanksgiving because you owe us 2 picks. You owe us 2 picks today, right? But I need Coach Eberflus to be in his back today. I need him to be in his back because listen, fans won't recognize this, but I'm going to tell you what happened in Detroit. I know we've been on the fire Coach Eberflus train, but I'm going to tell you, Coach Eberflus had Ben Johnson's numbers. He had his number for about 3 quarters of football. He was owning Ben Johnson. He was owning him. You know what I'm saying? The other channels ain't going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you. He was on. Ben Johnson looked real regular for about 3 quarters. The only thing that Ben Johnson had on Coach Eberflus is we couldn't stop the run with consistency so he could stay in his cover 2 zone. That cover 2 zone was killing Jared Goff. By the way, a hot take before a hot take Tuesday, Detroit finna go on a skid. I said this last week. I'm saying it again. Detroit is finna go on a skid. Because teams watch the tapes where we played them, and Jared Goff can't handle a cover 2 zone to save his life. So when teams stop Detroit from running the ball and force him to throw the ball, because what saved Jared Goff's life was 2-minute offense and the fact that we couldn't get a lack of a pass rush versus the 2-minute offense where we couldn't get pressure on him and he could sit back there and pick through the coverages, right? And the running game. So anytime he could slow down the pass rush through 2-minute offense and he can basically run the ball, it saves him. But all things being equal, Jared Goff was finna go on the skid. If they can stop Detroit's run game, those guys are frauds. I'm telling you. Might not like that. My man, what's the name? Don Burr ain't gonna like that one. Tag Don Burr. Don Burr ain't gonna like when them guys are frauds, man. All you gotta do is stop the run and make a play cover 2 zone and you in it like swimwear. I'm telling you. But Eberflus, I need you to be on that. I need you to be on that today. Know when to dial it up. Feel the game. Feel it. Know when to dial up the pressure. And let's bring this one home. On the road, right? We need this one. We need this one. Right? What else? Montez Sweat, get off. Billings, get off. You know what I'm saying? I need the rookies, man. Javon Dexter came up with some great pressures versus Detroit. They were just pressures, though. I need you to get there. We need to secure the bag today. Let's go to work. I already know Smith going to have a good game. And today might be the day. Today might be the day where Jalen Johnson get put on notice. Because all Smith needs is another good performance. He had one versus Washington. Today might be the day Jalen Johnson get put on notice. I don't know. Them linebackers do their thing behind them. Right? And we have a good day. You should take care of the ball. Don't turn it over. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be all right. Do me a favor. Give me y'all Justin Fields stat line in the chat before we get out of here. We're right at an hour, just a little bit over an hour. I'm trying to get you guys out of here. I'm going to clip this up tomorrow and tighten it up to try and get it down to about 45 minutes. But give me y'all Justin Fields stat line in the chat. I'm saying my boy goes for – let's take the step. Let's take the next step. Let's go for 250 tonight. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. There you go. Rush for let's rush for between 50 and 75 yards. I don't want to see him run for 100 today. I want to see him rush between 50 and 75 yards, 250, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a dub on the road. Elise was on the show, I think last week, was it? Elise says we don't get any more division win. I say false prophet. We're going to get this one tonight, 34-28. Bears break 30 points. Luke Getsy comes out in a game playing similar to the – which one I like better? I like the game plan to look similar to New Orleans. New Orleans was about right. The game plan similar to New Orleans, and my guy goes off. All right. Marifa says, I hope I got that right. 257, 2 TDs, no interceptions, 65. I like it. That's probably right on point. Steve-O, 20. See, Steve-O giving numbers, attempts, 21 for 27, 2D, 53 yards rushing. What was the top number on that? What you say? Tareen in the chat, T-Dub in the chat, 16 for 25, 231, 47 yards rushing, 2 tutties and a fumble. Good God. He added a fumble on that. You gotta keep him humble. You gotta keep him humble, huh, T-Dub? You gotta keep him humble. All right, man. I like it. Who did I miss? Rock said he hope linebackers not dropping interceptions today, man. Listen, I appreciate you. Suntar said Jalen in debt. He in debt for 2 interceptions. He owe us, man. He owe us. Taurus 9, man. He owe us tonight. Listen, man, I hope y'all enjoyed the game, and I hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. Got to give y'all a Thanksgiving shout out, man. Coach T and the family had a blast, bro. All my family, all my kids was home for the holidays, my grandkids, all of them. So, well, except for one. But we had a great time, man. Hope y'all had a great time with your family. If they're still sticking around, continue to enjoy your family, man. Stay blessed out there. Listen, enjoy the game tonight, man. Don't get too worked up. And as always, man, I don't know where you're from, but where I'm from, guess what? It's always beers up and bear down, man. I'll check y'all out on Thursday to do this wrap up, and we'll talk then, man. Continue to like and share the channel, man. We're going to keep it lit. I think I'm going to have my guy Steve-O on Thursday, so y'all better tap in, man. Steve-O Speaks. I'm going to reach out to you via X, and man, we can line that up. I'll talk to y'all soon. All right, bye-bye.